with whenever I'm hitting the whenever I'm pushing it to the left, I try swinging out like to the right. Like yesterday at the range, I set my alignment stick like that, like you do. And then whenever I try it, my ball striking always like it's not as good. So I don't know if I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but every time I try doing that, I don't strike the ball as well. And also, I took a video yesterday. My head didn't go into the ball, and I rotated correctly, but my shoulder's still dipping a lot.
Okay.
So those were a couple things I noticed.
We'll definitely take a look on video for sure. Now with the ball striking getting better, right? Scores starting to come down. Are we, thinking about maybe this time or sometime next year getting some tournaments or anything like that?
I think so.
Okay. Because I know that guy from Jesuit wants, what, 2 or 3 tournaments?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of.
More than that, I think it's like 4 or 5.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, I mean, wow. He's getting to a point where he could actually go out there and not embarrass himself.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I'm seeing a lot of good stuff right here on this now.
There's a par 3 there, and it was 160. Probably 162 because it was a little bit elevated.
Mm-hmm.
And he hit a 7-iron. It's one of those deals where the pin was on the far right.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, just go for the center of the green. And he
Mm-hmm.
literally went straight at the flag. And hit one of the purest shots I've seen him hit.
That's great.
The ball flew over the pin probably 3 yards, and that green was so hard it didn't hold. But he hit a 7-iron, kind of 160.
Is that number 4 on the front side?
Yes,
Yeah. Right next to the restrooms, right?
Yep.
Yep.
So I was just like, wow, you're hitting a 7-iron 162, man.
That's such a slopey green too, man.
Yeah.
From there to there.
Yeah.
No, there's no grass on it.
No, and it's just a complete dome. All right, big guy.
Oh yeah, another thing, distance-wise, there's a really big gap between my 8-iron and my 7. I can hit my 8 like maybe 145 at most, but then my 7 goes to like 165. So I've been trying to figure that out.
Okay. Do you have your 8-iron here?
Yes.
Or you're hitting your 8-iron right now?
No, I'm hitting my 9.
You're hitting your 9.
Another thing that really has to kind of work on is 30 to 60 yard shots.
To be honest, that's my favorite part of teaching right there is the short game. I mean, unfortunately, I'm in here. I'd love to be out by a putting green all the time and stuff like that. But yeah, we can definitely work on chip shots for them, get them a better technique for sure. Okay. So, what I kind of see here when you talk about your 7 and 8, right, is that at least, and this might have something to do with just the design of it. See how one's got speed foam in it, one doesn't?
So these are both the same brand?
I think so.
Wow. Why would that be?
Well, this is going to be more for approach shots. It's usually more for like distance and stuff like that. So they start to put the speed foam in here a little bit.
So does it plug in a little lighter?
It's got like a little something that can,
A little,
yeah, a little recoil on it
yeah,
and stuff like that.
The balance. They call that's how they limit the drivers or something, right?
Yeah, the
How much you
recoil.
can compress and.
Correct. So that might have something to do with it. When he starts to get better ball striking, these are going to be the clubs for the higher handicapper guy. So I could see where that could kind of bounce off a little bit. All right.
It's just weird how a matching set wouldn't be consistent. Maybe it's not a matching set.
I don't know. I don't know much about the Tailway burner set. I mean, there could be a number of things there, but we'll take a look at it. How's it feeling, big guy?
Really good.
Okay, so let's take a look. All right, pretty good setup right there, liking that. All right, so you're talking about your 7 and 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the things my old instructor used to tell me all the time, right? Is that sometimes we're going to hit it really long and sometimes we don't. We don't know where it comes from, right?
Yeah.
And that comes from the lack of wrist hinge. Okay, if we get our wrist hinge set right, then we get that pop. If I don't, then I kind of early release it a little bit. Does that make sense a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so personally I'd like to see like right here, okay, getting that club more here,
Yep.
okay, because the more you have less of this wrist hinge, this shoulder's got to go down to compensate for it. So you were talking about that, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about that real quick. So that's what you're kind of doing a little bit, is that you get here, right? And the hands don't get here, they're like here,
Mm-hmm.
right? And as I kind of do that, just watch what my body does. You see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
I'm lowering my shoulder to maintain this hand angle, okay? If I get like this, now I can rotate. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay? So what you do is you keep these you don't get this wrist hinge and it keeps going, and this shoulder's got to go down to support what you're trying to do with your hands a little bit.
Okay.
Okay? Now you're getting away with it, which is good, okay? But you're getting just a little down, okay? Okay, and a little bit of an over rotation because of the hip, the hand's not hinging at the correct time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I take a look at John here, right, you see where his back is,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not so much of a shoulder rotation here. So you're just over rotating, okay?
Yeah.
And that over rotation starts with your hands not getting set correct, right? So if I keep going like this, you see how I get like that, right? And you're probably feeling some stretch right here in the side a little bit, or
Maybe.
that's where I'm feeling it right now when I do this, right? But if I can get you to kind of set the club like this, now I can just kind of turn up, and you see how that shoulder moves,
Yeah.
right? But if I kind of keep my hands this way, right? See how that has to work,
Yeah.
right? I have to lower the shoulder and let those hands go like this. Does that make sense, big guy?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you agree with that, Don?
Yeah, I mean, I see exactly what you're saying. I noticed in the video the shoulder did kind of go down a little.
Yeah.
How do you get your wrist set earlier, I guess?
Right there. Okay. Now all we're doing is just turn it up. There you go. Perfect. That's it. Okay. So Don, if you come on over here real quick, take a look. Right. Face on for me. Right. You see, you can just see just barely of his back shoulder here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's where we need to kind of be. Okay.
So basically it's 90 degrees on his back there.
Correct. Shoulders are 90, hips are 45,
Yeah.
right? We could see that, and I don't know if I can get an angle on this. I'll try to see if I can. But this is every bit of, let's see if I can kind of see this. I don't know how. Let me go here. Let's see if he,
Yeah, that's like 120.
so I mean if I
I can see it.
that would be 90. I think I'm doing it in the opposite direction.
If you're my age, you'll be at 65 or 70.
Right,
Full
but I mean,
turn.
it's definitely more, it's probably 120 degrees at this
Yeah.
point, right? It's just way too much rotation for what we need. And what that comes from is the lack of the wrist hinging at the proper time. You've got to keep your shoulders turning to allow your hands to set at this point right here, right? So let's see, here. Still haven't really set them. You've kind of set them there, but now we're going to kind of lift up.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, and then you kind of get underneath just a little bit. You're clearing out of the way. Okay, and that head's falling back just a little bit. You see that? Okay. Now, with everything that you're doing, you're doing really well with the scores, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'd just like to see that wrist hinge a little bit better. So, once again, so as we kind of go, right, set, yeah, there you go. Okay, now just turn up to the top for me. There you go, good. That's where we need to kind of stop right there. Good. Let's do it again. Okay, good. There you go. Okay. You see how that right past your right foot, that club is parallel to the ground, or maybe just a little elevated. Okay, there we go. Now just turn up to the top for me. All right, you don't feel your left shoulder going down, do you?
No.
Okay, it's kind of more going across, right?
Yeah.
Is that the feeling?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Let's do it again. There you go. Good. Okay. So it kind of goes back to that idea, right? And I know we've done this before where I had those 3 colors,
Yeah.
right? And we would not want to we made sure that we did not drag that across that one color, right? So it gets us kind of more of the idea, right? I think people misconcept this, is to kind of lift the club up a little bit, right? Instead of kind of getting all this going. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, what I would do is get like right here, okay? Go ahead and set the club. Yep, there you go. Okay, good. Do it again. All right, good. Okay. Okay. So, and this is why I'm bringing up this concept, because this is very important when we talk about chipping and pitching. Okay. Is because I guarantee you with his chipping and pitching, he's getting his hands out and away, right? And then we have a bad strike.
Yeah.
Okay? So we always want to kind of feel like our hands are on a chain. So set up for me. Right? Our hands are on the chain going around our waist.
Okay.
Right? There it is. Okay? Good. Right? So I want you to kind of remember this. The distance from where I start up to where I start here is going to be relatively the same area.
Okay.
Okay? I don't want my hands getting out in the way. All right? Okay, so I'm going to do this to you real quick, an old drill, but I want you to just kind of focus on that. Yep. Good. Good. Okay, so I'm going to give you another little concept here.
Okay.
I want to give you another visual. Okay. So, little quiz. Okay. We're going to watch 2 things here. How much the handle moves and how much the head moves. Okay. Now I'm going to take a split grip here. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That handle's moved maybe 6 inches. That club head's moved about 3 or 4 feet.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It's not this. Where's my left shoulder at this point?
Down.
Correct. Right? Here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? So in the beginning, right, hands are going to stay around the body. Boom. And now they're going to go up.
Okay.
Does that make sense a little bit?
Yeah.
Or does that give you a good visual? That's
Yeah,
what
I think so.
Okay. So remember, in the initial part of the swing, the hands are going to stay there, right? They're going to stay in this general area, but the club is going to move about 3 or 4 feet away. Yeah. Right? And it should feel like we've got a little bit of a chain around our waist when we do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. See how much shorter the swing is now? Mm-hmm. Right? Right? There you go. Yeah. Can you give me a sense of what you're feeling and what you're thinking?
I mean, the main thing is I definitely don't feel my shoulder like dipping down anymore.
Right, yes.
And the swing definitely feels like stopping like maybe right here.
Right. Because you've already set the club, right?
Yeah.
You just need to turn your back to the target and you're good. But if my hands don't set, I got to keep turning my shoulders, turn.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens is I run out of room and then my hands just go.
Yeah.
right? But if I get you to kind of feel like the handle stays in this area and the club head moves 3 or 4 feet, right, 3.5 feet really, then you're gonna get your wrist set, and then all you have to do is just turn your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
Do it again for me. Mm-hmm. Good. Right? And now your head's staying so much more centered and not going back.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay? Now go ahead and give me the split grip idea. Go ahead and do that. Right? Yeah. Okay? Okay? Yeah, right? Okay? This is why hockey players are so easy to teach.
Mm-hmm.
Right here. So easy. I give them this concept and they're like, oh, okay.
That makes sense.
Okay.
I know all about that.
I'm going to go out like Mo Norman now.
Hey,
Hey. All right.
Mo Norman.
There's a classic right there.
I never heard of that guy in my life until I just started seeing some YouTube videos on him. And then I was trying to figure out, is he legit? Like,
Oh, yeah. Guy would just, he would hit, it was amazing.
but he didn't really play on the.
I think he had autism. But he qualified for the Masters one year, and Sam Snead goes, because he knew the guy would win. He was too good. And Sam goes, hey, if you kind of do this with this, you'll get a little bit better ball flight. He said that Mo Norman went out there the whole night and hit balls. He had to withdraw from the Masters because his hands were just raw. Sam Snead was laughing. He's like, yeah. I was like, that's just cruel.
Yeah.
But Sam wasn't a very friendly guy, from my understanding. Okay. Right? Handle doesn't move, head does. Right? Good. Good. Now, just kind of turn up to the top. You feel how this and this start to match up?
Which ones?
Your shoulders and wrist now?
Yeah.
They match up?
Mhm.
Okay. Good. Good. Okay. And that's all that matters, okay? So the big thing is that your degree of turn is going to be different than other people's, but if I can get your wrists and shoulders to match up, that's the big goal right there. And it's going to keep your head in a good area.
Okay.
Okay? You ready to hit a few?
Let's do it.
Okay. So for you, it's probably going to feel very short and narrow right here.
Okay.
Okay, but give it a chance, okay? Yep, I like that, okay? Very inside, very boxy-like, right? Swing inside that box. Good. Good. All right, big guy. Give me 3 or 4 here. Okay. And give me an honest assessment of what you're feeling, what you're thinking, okay? Nine iron?
Mm-hmm.
I like that yardage. Same carry number, good. We got a hold of that one a little bit though, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
144.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 9.
9. What? Right, so we've shortened up your swing
Mm-hmm.
and we're getting more, right? So we're getting consistent. Give me one more here and give me an honest assessment of what you're kind of feeling with your hands and everything, okay? I'm liking that, pal. Let's see how we're doing here. Still a little bit. We're starting to get it a little bit there.
All right.
Okay. Very cold. I got a student of mine that's he's playing the same thing. Interesting. Right, so just a little bit to the side here, just a little bit. He gets a little bit further away, but that's okay. All right, let's see how he does here. Boom. Let's go a little bit.
Oh,
Down through a little bit. Okay. Let's keep working on it. Okay. But are you getting the kind of concept that we're
Yeah.
trying to work on here?
Mhm.
Okay. It's not going to work its way out in 4 swings, right? Okay. But when I talk about, and this is probably a better way to kind of practice it here. Okay. Let me kind of jump on in there real quick. So working on it with the full swing might be a little difficult, but if I kind of got you into a shorter club, like a pitching wedge or 60, right? If you kind of watch, if I kind of put my feet together and I just kind of do this, right? Here, here. If I kind of feel like I keep my hands on a chain around my waist, it kind of starts to get me that feeling that I'm looking for.
okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right, so if I just kind of feel like the head moves, hands stay on a chain around my waist, right here, here, see how that club's coming close to my side?
Yeah.
Okay, I start to get a feel for how the head moves, handle stays there, but then I'm rotating and turning.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So come on over here real quick. Okay. Okay. So just feel like you've got the butt of the clubs on a chain around your waist, and it's not going to go very far away. Yep. There. There. Good. Again. Good. Feel those hands moving around your waist on a chain. There you go. Now give me a little soft hit there. Yeah. Bet you would have taken a few of those at the old.
Of
Okay.
course.
Right? But the big thing I want you to feel is how much your hands are moving around your body when you start off that swing.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's get. Let's take a look, see how we're doing there.
What are you hitting there, Tom?
60 degree.
60,
Okay. So I like where we're at here. Okay.
Looks like my club's coming way inside.
Way inside,
Yeah.
right? Way inside. But the big thing I'm liking is that you're starting to get a little bit more of where those hands need to kind of be.
Okay.
Okay, but we need to make sure that we're not getting to the inside though.
Yeah.
Right? So it's got to feel like, yeah. Okay, that's what it's going to feel like too.
Okay.
Okay, you're kind of getting it like this. Like, does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. There you go. Keeping that club in front of us, right? Keeping that Yeah. There you go. Okay? Feel how much of a hinge that we're getting?
Yeah.
You feel how you're moving that club head, not the handle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're moving the handle, but it's still staying in the same relative area.
Yeah, yeah.
All right? Do it again.
So when he was pitching last night,
Mm-hmm.
whether he was hitting at the bucket, or 45 yard line, whatever it was, every miss was left. Like, and I say left, like 10, 15 yards left.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I'm sure it's technique.
Well,
But
what I would assume it is that it's, and it goes back to the wrist hinge, is that he's like this, and now he has to decelerate. And when we decelerate to the left, it goes.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's
And
because he's
it
probably.
almost seemed like he was kind of pulling through with his left hip a little bit, like
Mhm.
trying to make up the speed or something.
Yeah, well, he's trying to. I would venture to guess he's trying to take. He's put a full swing into a short game swing, and he's trying to
Yeah.
control the distance.
Yeah.
And what happens is when we do that, we get like this, and everything just kind of breaks down. Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
I think you're right, because like, see, right now he's set up for pitching, right, with his feet kind of close together and offset a little. He was like setting up like a normal swing, and I was like, that's not how you hit a 40-yard shot.
Right. Yeah.
And he's like, I can't pitch at 40 yards. I'm like, yes, you can.
Yeah, absolutely. He could definitely pitch at 40 yards.
I guess the thing with that was like, if I'm ever on like a really bad patch of grass or something and I like chunk it, instead of going 45 yards, it might go like 5.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to do like a little like quarter like real swing, and it was not working.
So here's the thing. So when we touch into the short game, and I guess we'll kind of dive into that just a little bit here for right now. Do you have any questions about what we're kind of doing with the full swing there a little bit with the hands? It's going to play a part in what we're going to talk about here too.
Okay.
One thing that we have to do is the lie is going to dictate the shot.
Yeah.
Okay, so I see a lot of people, they're around the green and they just grab their 60 or 56 and their putter, right? And not really kind of grab a few extra ones. And because when they get up over the ball, they're like, well, that's not the lie I was kind of anticipating, right? But I've got this club in my hand and the cart's 30 yards away. I'm not going back there, right? How many times have we done that, right?
A couple times.
Every time, right? So at least for me, what I do is I make sure that I grab at least 2 or 3 extra clubs with me, just in case. So that's part of it, one. As I said, one is making sure that the lie dictates what the shot is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we need to figure out, right, let me see your club here, right? And we need to figure out that, if you stand right over here, what that lie dictates will tell me, am I going to be using the leading edge or am I going to use the bounce? Okay? And when we do that, there's got to be 2 different ways of kind of going about that, right? If I want to use the leading edge, okay, and that's usually when I have a scrubbier lie, like, some of those lies that you probably got over there at Brooksville, right? We're going to have that more in the back of the stance, and that's going to be more of a shot that we're kind of driving down and through. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay. That way we've got the hands ahead and we're leading through there. We're going to get the ball out, right?
Okay.
This is going to be kind of more of a shot. Usually 90% of the shots that we play are going to be like this, right? But this is definitely something that's going to get us out of divots, out of crappy shots, and get us onto the green. Maybe not always as close as we want, but at least we're advancing the ball onto the green.
Yeah.
Now, once we start talking about utilizing the bounce, right, we've got to change where our low point is, okay? Our low point with this is back behind us, right? Sternum way in front, right? When we start talking about what I call a pitch shot, we got to have the ball a little bit more up in our setup, more neutral with our hands, okay? And what we got to kind of feel like is we got to kind of feel like we're throwing the club into the ground, and when I get into impact, right, the butt of the club's pointing back towards my navel, which we would never do with a real swing.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to get to right there, is that if I were to say, hey, I want to take my full swing and try to pitch it, I'm always going to have that leading edge to drive down and through, okay? But with this, I'm gonna have up in the stance, okay? And basically what I'm gonna have is here, right? If you kind of looked in slow motion here, you'll probably see the butt of the club pointing back towards my navel at impact. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay? We would never teach that in the real swing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But since I narrowed up my stance, I utilized the bounce, those are some of the shots that we use there, right? So does that make sense
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit right there? Okay, so setup's key right there for us. Okay?
So when you're pitching, you don't have as much forward lean. You don't have really any.
No. So with a pitch shot, right? With a pitch shot, okay, and this is something where we're getting a little bit more air, right?
Yeah, so like if you gotta go over a sand trap to an elevated green.
Correct,
Right.
correct. Something where I have an obstacle in front of me, water, something like that. I'm gonna have that ball. So here's my center. If you kind of take a look face on here, right? That would be where my center would be, right? Let's just say that's center. Okay, look where I play that, really up front, and then I'm gonna shift into my left side here, okay, to maintain my weight, right? And as I come through, right, it's here, not a lot of movement, right? The heads move quite a bit, hands have not. They kind of stay in the same area, right? And as I come through here, really kind of releasing that club down and through. Look at my left wrist. Wouldn't be like that on any other shot, right? Here, here. So I'm really feeling like the club is passing by me as I come through. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then what happens, that utilizes the bounce, and it skips on the ground, and we pick up the ball, and it comes up with less spin. Does that
I
make
love
sense?
that shot, man, because like you can hit 3 inches behind the ball and still get a good shot.
Absolutely,
Get a good result out of it.
absolutely, and God bless the bounce for that, right? That's what the bounce is used for, right? I think a lot of people don't understand
I
how to
bought
utilize it.
him that club with like what 14 degrees of bounce or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
I bought him that because I'm like, well, you're a beginner, you need more bounce.
yeah. But the other thing about bounce is that probably more the courses that we play with soggy conditions, that's going to be more suitable. If I was up more north where the greens are a little bit tighter, I'd probably have less bounce.
Yeah.
Does that make sense a little
Yeah,
bit?
the guy at the where it was
Superstore?
Carrollwood.
Okay.
Yeah, he kind of told us that.
Yeah.
You know, explain the difference in the fairways and the lies and stuff.
Yeah, that's the big thing is I see with a lot of the tour players is the grind that they have on the back.
Yeah.
Right, so it's gonna be like
so many
this.
options there. It's like hard to know what to do.
So here you go, set up, you're good. Okay, so it's gonna be like this, okay, and then as you come through, almost like that, right? Okay, so it's gonna be here, and then kind of throwing that club into the ground.
Okay.
You feel how that bounce is skipping now?
Yeah.
You feel that bounce on the bottom? That's what we're utilizing right there. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right, that's so much different than what I would teach in the full swing, right? Because I'm telling you to actually release your right hand underneath you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There you go. Right, that's why I kind of disagree with Phil's hinge and hold. There you go. Now let me ask you
How
this.
about this? So
Mm-hmm.
this angle versus this on the pitch shot.
So pitch shot is going to be much more of this, okay? Pitch shot's going to be more of the hands down a little bit. Chip shot is going to be where we get our hands up a little bit. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Okay, because we're trying to make sure that we get away from the bounce as much as possible with the chip shot as much. Okay, so with the chip shot, we're going to be much more closer, right? Hands elevated and trying to get that bounce away. So more of kind of having it on the toe a little bit, feeling, okay? Trying to get away from our bounce. Now once I start to want to use the bounce, I'm going to kind of get away a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the hands get a little bit lower so to expose that bounce just a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I've been doing the opposite my whole career.
Now you know. Now you know. So give me just a chance like that. And the big thing, the big feels that I like to have, as far as this is concerned, is that I like to feel that when I come through here, one, the butt of the club points back towards my navel, and then as I finish, I want to almost have that Chi Rodriguez where I could shield the sword.
Okay.
Right? And this comes into play with bunker shots too. All right, but that's going to help expose that bounce. You got to kind of throw that club a little bit underneath it. There you go. Right? And that gets that little spinner that we're wanting. Okay. So you can't hit a 40-yard pitch shot? There it is. Right? And there's not a big swing for that, is there?
No.
Right? It's not a full swing motion. It's a whole nother game. Good. Yeah, 36. A little left. Okay.
There we go.
There it is. But do you feel what your hands are doing in this motion?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to kind of show you here.
You're probably gonna save 5 shots off your round now, just knowing this.
Right, I mean, the club might be a little bit inside like we talked about, right? But look how much more wrist hinge we have here. Your hands are still getting a little bit away, but look how much more wrist hinge we have compared to that, right? That's energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You've stored up energy now. Okay. All right, butt of the club pointing back towards our navel a little bit as we come through, and then letting that hand, right? You see how that wrist kind of that left wrist kind of bends a little bit for us,
Yeah.
right? We would never teach that in the full swing, right? Right, so that's a whole different motion. Okay, give me a couple more, big guy. How does that feel?
Good.
Okay. All right, but the big thing is now you can take a swing and you can be aggressive without having to decelerate through impact.
That definitely hurt him the other day.
Yeah, there was one shot.
shots, he would decelerate. I'm like, you never decelerate. Right?
Yeah.
Make up for it with a shorter backswing, something, but you gotta accelerate.
Correct. The big thing is just getting his hands to set, his wrist to set. You know,
That's the secret sauce.
yeah, the club head moves, the hand stays within this 5-6 inches around our waist, but that club head moves every bit of 3 feet. Yeah, there you go. Very good. Very good. So, you know, as my instructor would teach me, this is how he started with me with the wrist hinge. And I'd say probably 6 weeks I had to do this. You know, just hitting these little shots. But getting used to having my hands around my waist and moving that club head more than getting my hands and everything moving off away from the train.
Yeah.
So let's say he's 65 yards out.
Okay.
How should he, let's just say it's 65 yards out in the middle of the fairway,
Okay.
no obstructions.
Okay.
So obviously you have multiple options, but
Yeah.
like if you wanted to pitch it,
If you wanted to pitch it and you wanted to go 65 yards, he's probably right there, maybe at the edge of where he could get that, but I would probably grab, what is he at,
like a
56?
50, he's got a 52.
52, okay, that's fine. That's even better. Okay, give me the same motion with a 52, okay? We're not trying to kill it anymore. We're just going to let the loft do the work for us,
All right.
okay? And it's going to come out a little bit lower and a little bit further. Okay? Go ahead and give it a little bit.
All right.
So my next question would be, do you pitch it or you take a 60 and just do like a 3/4 full, like a 3/4 regular swing for the shot, like?
No, we're gonna, for that, we want to stay in this area, because once you start to put the full swing in there, then you start to start to come back to what we're talking about, decelerating when we come through.
Yeah.
Right? So we wanna keep with this technique, right? Really, as much as what we can is.
Where do you draw the line though? 80 yards? 90, like, at what point do you kind of go back to just a half swing, 3/4 swing?
Probably about 100 yards.
Okay.
Probably about 100 yards. You know, wherever you feel comfortable. Anywhere from 80 to in is really where we want to kind of be. You know, some of us may go out to 100, some may stay right there. But the big thing is I would have him work with the wedges, you know, not try to hit a, like what I'm saying is not try to get a goal, like I want to hit this 80 yards, but just have the same motion and what consistently comes from it. And then whatever that is, grab the next club. What do we consistently get? So we keep the same motion. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
So it's all about the loft at that point.
correct. So I'm really just trying to keep my same swing, same length. I just want to change the loft to get the distance.
Right.
And really for us with wedges, I never want to have a full swing. It's always 3/4. Does that make sense? That way I'm flighting the ball, I'm hitting it well. If we get into like a really full swing, especially on a windy day, how many times we hit that, up it goes, right? So really trying to keep that idea of a 3/4 swing underneath 100 yards is really ideal, I would say. And just use the loft, you know, if he needs to use a pitching wedge or even a 9-iron. Who cares what it says on the bottom? Right, but you see how much more loft you're getting?
Yeah.
Right? Your smash factor is about 100, which is good. I guarantee you with a full swing, that's up, you know, 120, 130, and you're trying to decelerate that. Does that make sense? That's lazy hands.
There it is.
Lazy hands. That was the hands going like this,
Yep.
not hinging. Right? Because if I hinge that thing, I should be able to
He's
release
got
it.
one of those in him every 9 holes.
That's okay. Hey, I think we all do every once in a while, right? But you feel how you hinge those wrists and you don't have that little.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're gonna do here, widen up your stance just a little bit.
All right.
Now, give me, yeah, let me see here. Let me see. Stay right there. 1, 2. All right, shorten that up. 1, 2. There you go. Okay, good. Okay.
No wrist hinge.
No wrist hinge there. How's the old style? Look more like Jason Day. She gets away. All right, your feet 2 club widths apart. Good, good. All right. Now is that our 52?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's take that to the point where we feel like it's a left arm parallel a little bit. Okay? No, parallel to the ground.
Okay.
So go ahead. Yeah, there you go. 9 o'clock. Okay, so here we go. Set up again. Do it again. There you go. 9 o'clock. Okay. There we go. So with our feet being about 2 club lengths apart, our length should be about 9 o'clock. Right?
Okay.
1 club length should be about here 7:30. Once I get to about 3 club lengths, 10:30. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah.
So then we start to use loft and the length of our swing to help that. Okay? There you go. Right? Feel like that left arm gets to 9 o'clock. Here we go. Good. Right? Keep going. Okay. So now what we would do is we would just find out at 9 o'clock, what is a consistent number that we get? Is it 52, 56, right? Whatever that is. And that's going to be more important when he gets on out there. He can be like, things start lighting up in your head.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I've been here before. I know exactly what to do.
Correct. I know what length I need all that. And that is, without a doubt, the biggest thing I guarantee you when you're out there, you're like, should I swing? Should I do like this? You're just a guessing game for the distance, right? Instead of just working on those numbers. Good. Okay, that's more like a 731 right there.
Okay.
Okay, give me just a little bit longer swing, okay? Just feel like that left arm gets parallel to the ground and just a little bit wider stance. Okay, give you a chance there. Good. Good. The big thing I'm liking right here is look at your smash factor numbers.
Yeah.
That thing's going to land like a marshmallow. Right? I mean, and that's what we're looking for. Carry was 48, total was 54.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's sticking around there. When you're talking about a few things, I guarantee you they're hitting and going, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Good. Good.
And then another thing about my short game
Yeah.
is I learned to bump and run with a 52 degree, which I know like most pros use like a 9-iron, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So every time I try and use a 9-iron, I can't get the distance right because I'm so used to using this.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of have to like figure that out because like if you have a 40-yard bump and run shot, it's going to be a lot easier with like a 9 or even like a 7-iron than.
So here, let me give you a little idea about the old bump and run. What do you got? You got let me see if I got the 9 here. Is it? Good guess. All right, so let me kind of jump on in here and I'll talk about the bump and run here a little bit. I don't really care what club you use as long as you're comfortable with it. Does that make sense? I've always used a 9 and I'm good with that. But there's a few things I would suggest with the bump and run. If I have let's say I have a shot, I'm in a valley to an elevated green, okay? Pins in the back, okay? One thing I want to kind of do is I want to get that in the back. I'm going to kind of hood the club just a little bit. I'm going to close it just a little bit.
Okay.
And I want to hit like a little hook shot, okay? Because that little hook is going to run through that uphill for me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so it'd be kind of more like this right here. So it'd be like this, getting on in there. I got it hooded just a little bit, and I'm going to put some hook spin on it.
Okay.
Purposely, okay, to get it running through there. This would be for an elevated green, pin in the back. So it'd be kind of like this. Okay. Now what you're going to kind of see here, right? The carry was 23. The total was 53.
Yeah.
Okay, so I put a lot of spin on that so it can run through there, right?
Mhm.
Now if I'm up on an elevated hill, that'll kind of die. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's say that I'm kind of got something where I'm above it, kind of down a little bit, and I need to kind of cut that down a little bit, right? What I would kind of do is I would get the face a little bit open here, okay? And then what I kind of do just a little bit is I kind of cut it just a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? So I'm putting a little counter spin on it a little bit. But for the most part, for what we probably are going to play 9 times out of 10 is we're going to play that back in the stance and just kind of hit a little hooky shot.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
that
he had a shot at Brooksville where he must have hit the car path because the ball was 30 yards long.
okay.
And it was in some straw grass, but it was matted down, so I mean he could get the club on it.
Yeah.
But then the green was slightly elevated, maybe 4 foot,
Mm-hmm.
and the pin wasn't that far back. So, and there was no tree, so he couldn't go up.
Okay.
So he basically had to do a little bump and run, but he needed to almost hit the side of the green and
Yeah.
then let it bounce up and trickle up, right?
Absolutely.
But I mean, he never practices that shot, so he had to kind of figure it out on the fly.
Yeah.
And he just came up a little short. It was like right on the front,
Yeah.
first cut or something, right?
Mhm.
It wasn't a bad effort.
Yeah.
And then I had him hit 2 or 3 more just for fun, right? But it's a delicate shot because if it goes a little too firm, then it's just gonna roll right off the green, right?
Right, absolutely, and that's just touch, feel, and all that, you know. But what I would really say to something like where I'm hitting into a hill per se, I'm definitely going to try to use a little bit more of that hook spin, because once I get that thing going into that grass, it's going to keep running up there, right?
Yeah.
I see a lot of people will hit, one, they don't hit their mark, and it's woo, over it goes, or they just try to hit it with a straight face, or they kind of do this, right? And the thing just kind of goes into the ground. Have you ever seen stuff like that? Or it comes up short, right? We wanna participate in getting that thing to kind of hook a little bit.
Yeah.
That's gonna get it running.
I didn't know that. That's helpful.
Okay. So I mean, that's the big thing, is it gets that ball running through the grass, gets it up there, and maybe we're a little long, right? Maybe we're 4 or 5 feet past, but we're not off the green, short, right?
You're not chipping again.
Correct, and that, you know, we got to kind of figure out where the miss is going to be, right? Sometimes it's not always going to be perfect, but I want to get myself on the green to give myself a chance, that opportunity. That's the big thing. Okay. So yeah, you can see like carry here is 13, rolling out to 37, right? So that's got some energy to it. Face was open a little bit there. Okay. All right, but I remember when Silverado used to have an old practice putting green, we'd go out there with the old 9-iron and kind of cut across it a little bit to put some spin on it, and then we kind of hook it, put some more different spin on it, and just see what it kind of did.
Yeah.
I saw a YouTube video once of Tiger. He was pitching around the greens.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, here, I'll put a little cut spin on this one. I'll overall this one.
Oh yeah.
And like even the other pros are like, damn.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because he wasn't hitting it like 15, 20 yards or something, right? Like he's still able to get.
It's amazing. Like some of the short game videos he has, he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna kind of do this. I mean, it's like watching a guy hit billiard balls. You know what I mean? It kind of like zips around. I'm like, you know, just talent that you just don't have. I don't have. All right. That's why I think it was so shocking when he had that lull with his, when he was, you know, fat and every red shot and everything like that. When he came try to come back and he was hitting fat shots and hitting behind it. It was just so untypical of Tiger.
Did you see where he had disc replacement surgery
Again?
in his lower back? So I actually have a herniated disc in my neck,
Mhm.
and I went to Biospine,
Okay.
and they wanted to do a disc replacement surgery, and the guy told me, he's like, because I was like 49 or something.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, if you're gonna do it, you need to do it now. He's like, because after 50, we don't do these surgeries. And anyway, Tiger's over 50.
Well, Tiger's got billions of dollars.
Well, this was 10 years ago, or whatever, 8
Yeah.
years ago. So I don't know, maybe it's gotten, something's changed.
I know they wanted to do back here for me. I want to say it's like the C4 or C3 or something like that.
I didn't let him do it either.
I had one doctor. He was so eager to cut. He's like, yeah, let's do it. We got to do it. And then I went to another guy, and he's like, do you feel a lot of pain right now? I said, no. I just every once in a while this hand goes numb, and he goes, if you're not feeling pain, don't do it.
That's what they told
So
me.
just walk away from it right now.
So Biospine, Laser Spine Institute, Bonati, like they're surgical centers. That's what they do.
Correct.
They do surgery.
Yeah.
Everybody that comes in needs to get cut on.
Correct. There's bills that need to get paid.
Yeah.
You know.
So I was talking to a surgeon who does knee replacements. Coincidentally, I met him through Donnie's when he was on the golf team.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically did a little exam on me right there in the parking lot. And he basically said, when you can't lift up your left or your right arm, he's like, then you need surgery. He's like, until then,
Don't mess with it.
physical therapy.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. You know, the doc, and to be honest with you, at the time I was a lot heavier than I am now. And the doctor said, well, you know, wait, you'd probably feel a lot better. So I lost 50 pounds, and I'm like, well, this is amazing now. So it's, you know.
I can't imagine being 15 pounds heavier.
Yeah, bowling ball.
Wow. How'd you do it?
Just stopped eating after 6. Stopped watching late night TV, right? How many times do you watch TV and it's Wendy's, Taco Bell, you know, And you're like, well, that food looks good in the pantry right now at 12 at night or whatever it is, you know? So, you know, cut out drinking, no drinking,
Yeah.
stop that. So, you know, those countless calories that we put into us, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, all right, big guy, how's this feeling for you, my man?
Good.
Okay? All right. Let's go with one of these. Let's grab this guy. Try a little bump and run with this guy.
All right.
Just, you know, the fun thing about short game is just experiment with stuff, right? There you go. Okay. And I'll show you a fun little shot here in just a sec
All right.
that me and my buddies used to practice and play with. We call it the old Raymond Floyd.
Oh, shoot. We're over.
No, you're fine. Don't worry about it. So here. See
I
that.
was glad that your other guy was running a little behind too, because I got a new phone.
Uh-huh.
Apparently I haven't figured out how to work the alarm. I woke up at 8:42. I was like, oh shit.
Time to go. So if you kind of come on over here, we used to play these little shots. So this is kind of like a Raymond Floyd shot, and it's fun if you want to get out and play with it. But you get the club really elevated, and it's called the toey wedge.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of get it like this, and what you do is you just kind of get like that, and you can get that thing to really spin hard.
Yeah.
It's a fun shot. It's something, if you've ever heard of a gentleman called Raymond Floyd.
I have.
You have. Great. He had a great short game, amazing short game. But this was his kind of a technique. Not that I see it anymore, but he'd always play like a little toey wedge. And you just kind of, and it just comes out kind of soft and dead. And it comes off right off the toe area here. And it's just like, sits.
So like, what would be the situation where that would come into play?
If I was really high up on a hill, down below, get that spin going. Right? Kind of just comes out knuckly dead for us. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? It's a fun little shot. You may use it once every 6 months, right? But it's just something fun to play with. All right, so just kind of, see that? Just kind of pops right up.
Yeah.
You know, and the other thing is that really, if we're one of those people that are kind of struggling with the bounce a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
we get that leading edge and it gets kind of digs into stuff. Right?
The other thing, we can talk about this next time, but the other thing he needs to kind of start to understand here is how far do you want to fly it versus how far is it going to roll?
Absolutely. And, you know, we can have a brief conversation about that, but that comes down to, you know, that's going to come down to more next time when we kind of work on it, but really working on the technique, getting that solidified for where, you know, getting used to the positions that we need to be in. And then really we get into the TrackMan and we repeat the same motion. We figure out what is your numbers, right? What can we kind of do?
So Donnie was in the first tee program,
Mhm.
and they taught him like each club, right? Like with a 9-iron, it's X and then Y, and with the 8-iron, it's X.
Yeah.
And Donnie could recite them.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I mean, I would probably go pitching wedge 50-50.
mhm.
Right? You know, 9-iron's probably going to be more 40-60, right? 40 air, 60 roll, and you just kind of do that math throughout, right? So if it was a 6 on or a 60 degree, it's probably going to be more 70-30. Does that make sense? 70 air, 30 roll. And you just figure out where you're, what you're trying to kind of do a little bit, right? If I, once I get around there, and the other part is that you got to go count out your yardage, right? How many times do you get on over there and you're like, well, there's the flag, right? I'm just going to hit halfway. Well, what is halfway? Where is that point? There's so many times we look at something and we go out there, and if I say, hey, there's the middle, you're probably off the center by a little bit. You know what I mean? But those are the things. You got to count your yardages, know your yardages, right? And the big thing is that once he starts to get a consistent, what is that yardage that, if I take it from right here, 730, and I swing consistently, if I said, give me 30 balls, right, and do the same motion, what is our average yardage, right? It's not going to be same every time, but at least when we get out there in the course, you could say, oh, my average is 55 yards. I have a 50-yard shot, right? I know what I need to kind of do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? So, and the big thing is the numbers start to light up in our heads. At least for me, I'm like, oh, this is 60 yards. I've been practicing that. This is this. And now it's not a guessing game to what it is. It's evidence-based.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And it just takes
And
time.
that's what I told him the other day. I said, Tom, I'm noticing that you're confident over the ball. And when you're confident in what you're doing, you're going to have a lot better result.
Absolutely.
When you're not sure, it's...
We don't know where to
Rely
take a
on
club.
luck.
Absolutely, how to take the club, and then we start to get into the world of performance instead of just action.
Yeah.
Right? We're trying to guess what that perfect feel is, and some people have just a knack to do that. But the 90% of us need to just kind of, all right, I'm here. I hit 30 shots today, and that was my average. I write that down. I widen my feet. I get a little bit longer stance. Boom, hit through. What's my average? And you work through each one of your 3 clubs, is what I'd say, 60, 52, pitching wedge. And see if you start to get it. You may find that you're getting the same yardage out of the same club. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then you're like, well, no wonder I'm coming up short with a pitching wedge or the 52. I'm hitting it the same yardage, right? Mm-hmm. And then we start to take a look. Maybe the lofts are the same. Maybe the lengths are the same. Yeah. Maybe you've got 2 of the same club that you're hitting. Does that make sense? Yeah, just because it says pitching wedge at the bottom of 52 doesn't mean it's always that same, if that makes sense, right? But that's the big thing is you start to get a consistent pattern of what that average number is. And then when you're out there on the course, you're like, oh, 65. I know where that is. Boom. And I guarantee you, you're not worried about, I hope I hit it right. Yeah. Do I need to hit it to the front? You're just seeing that number and you light up. Yeah. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right, big guy. Let's talk about what we kind of worked on here a little bit. Can you kind of give me a little recite of what we worked on?
So for pitching and the real swing, just main thing is the wrist hinge. But also a big part is not getting that club inside. We kind of talked about that last week too. Yeah. So, kind of in that position instead of here or here. Yeah. And then for the short game, a couple new shots. You can play it in the back and use the balance. You can play it up front and just get it in the air. You can keep it low. Put some hook spin for an uphill shot, and then kind of cut it if you're going like downhill. Yeah.
Play with the face a little bit, right? Yeah. Play with it, manipulate it. I think so many people think that you've got to be set in a box, that you can't do that, right? And you can play with that face. You can hood it, you can open it, you get different results out of it. And that's the big thing about the short game. Mm-hmm. Now, what's the most important thing about the short game?
Confidence.
Part of it, I agree. But remember, the most important thing is that the lie will dictate the shot. Yeah. Right? Always take a look at your lie, right? Don't go in there with the idea, I'm going to flop this on up there, and you've got a, tight-ass lie, right? Yeah. Nobody's flopping that, right? So lie dictates the shot, and then from there, work your way around it. Does that make sense? Yeah. So don't just go up there with an idea, I'm going to flop it, or I'm going to pinch it. Look at it, study it, figure out what you're going to do, and then execute it. Does that make sense? Yep. All right, big thing is, let's make sure, and grab that real quick, right? Let's make sure that we start to keep that wrist hinge, right? I want to make sure that when my hand gets just past my right foot here, that shaft is parallel to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's about where I want it to kind of be. And remember, if I had a wall here, right? Boom. Okay, don't want to get into that wall.
Mhm.
So if I got here, boom. That's probably what I just kind of practiced to get a feel for. That would feel odd to me for
Yeah.
what you're doing right now. It'd be more like that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so get yourself one. I know we've talked about it, up against the wall, right? Just like that. But then, boom. Just get that wrist set before we get to the wall,
Yeah.
right? Boom, right? And what we notice is that the handle stays somewhere in this area. This head moves about 4 feet,
Mm-hmm.
right? Boom. And now I've got control of that club face, not the other way around, right? All right, big guy, any other questions, anything else?
Yeah, this was really good.
Good.
I think if he can improve his chipping and pitching, he's gonna see a big move in his scores.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'll send over the guy that I really like to, that I like to emulate is a guy by the name of Dan Greaves, I believe his name is. English guy out of I don't know, like London or something like that. But without a doubt, one of the best short game teachers. I think he's taken a lot from like Stan Utley, who's done that as well.
You talking about Danny Bald?
No, Dan
He's an
Greaves.
English guy too.
Oh, I'm sure there's plenty of them, but yeah, Dan Greaves, he's got a book, it's called The 3 Releases, and it talks about how we want to release our hands for each one of the finishes and stuff like that. So I think I kind of like the concept because he focuses more on this side of the swing than this side, where I think a lot of people get kind of lost on, if that makes sense. So if I can kind of finish this way, I did everything right on this side. Does that make sense? So, but I'll forward that on over to you.
All right.
Any questions? What are we doing? Mowing some grass today? How many lawns do we have?
2, but sometimes 3.
Sometimes 3. What, we have a neighbor kind of come on in there and say, hey,
Whenever
Yeah.
they don't feel like doing it, they're just like, they'll
Well,
send a text.
we go, hey, I see him out there mowing, let's give him a text.
Her husband works construction, so he's working over weekends and stuff. So
That makes sense.
yeah.
They're like, they're going rate on the yards like 20, 25 bucks. Anyway, they'll give them 45 bucks. I'm like,
Their yard is the smallest
No.
of the 3.
I was about to say,
And they
man,
insist.
get yourself a trailer and a truck when you're ready and a lawnmower and you've got a business, pal. I mean, you know.
Not a bad idea.
Now, I've known a few guys that have done that. That and pressure, you know, they'll do mowing in the summer, pressure washing in the winter. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's a great way to earn a buck. Had a buddy of mine who was about your age years ago, and he bought himself a Dodge Charger, one of those Chargers
Yeah.
back in the day. Got all revved up and stuff like that. Little kid, he was excited about it. But he,
Just what every teenager needs, 400 horsepower.
yeah, you know. So, but good. You want to schedule up your next one?
Yeah.
Let's do that right now.